Hi, I'm Gwenda Anderson and I'm a tutor at the CTC Academic Studio, and I will be talking about simplifying expressions. So first I'm going to be talking about like terms and what they are. So a variable is an unknown, usually represented by a letter, such as a, b, z, x squared, or y cubed, and the letter chosen for the unknown or the variable is a personal preference. So you can choose any letter that you would like. So like terms have the same variable with the same exponent. So 3a and 6b are not like terms because of the variable a and the b are not the same. And 7x squared and 4x squared are like terms because the variable x is the same and they both have the same exponent, which is 2. So now I'm going to be talking about combining like terms. So if you have two terms that are two or more terms that are the same, when adding and subtracting them, you just add or subtract the coefficients. So 3x plus 4x, the variables are the same with the same exponents. So 3 plus 4 is 7, and then the x just carries along. So then we have 8a squared minus 3a squared, and 8 minus 3 is 5, and then the a squared just gets carried over. So with multiplication and division, you don't need like terms. The coefficients undergo the indicated operation, while the variables also undergo the same operation, and they combined. So for this one, we have 3y times the quantity 4 minus 2x. So we can distribute that 3y. So we have 3y times 4. So 3 times 4 is 12, and the y gets carried along. And then we have 3y times negative 2x. So 3 times negative 2 is negative 6. And then x times y is just xy. So our final answer for this is 12y minus 6xy. And notice, I know it was 3y times negative 2x, and it would have been correct if I put negative 6yx or negative 6xy. They mean the same thing. But I normally, personal preference, just put them in alphabetical order. So order of operations. So order of operations is the steps used to simplify any mathematical expression. And if you calculate these steps in the wrong order, then you will get the wrong answer. So it's very important that you follow the order of operations. So the order of operations in order are 1, you want to work on removing the parentheses from your expression. 2, the exponents. 3, multiplication and division. So multiplication and division are the same step. And 4, addition and subtraction, also the same step. And I've included a saying, please excuse my dear Aunt Sally, and it's just used to help remember the orders. So the first letter in each word stands for which order you're on. So please excuse my dear Aunt Sally. So the P is parentheses, the E is exponents, the M is multiplication, D division, A addition, and S subtraction. So first I'm going to be talking about the parentheses. And for the parentheses, you're going to combine like terms on the inside of the parentheses, if there are some, or use the distributive property to remove parentheses from the expression. So for this one, we have 4a plus 3a in the parentheses. So 4a plus 3a are like terms, so 4 plus 3 is 7, and the a goes along. Now for this one, if you look inside the parentheses, we have y plus 5, which we cannot combine because they're not like terms. So we can distribute that 3x to get rid of the parentheses. So 3x times y is 3xy, and then 3x times positive 5 is plus 15x. So next we're going to look at exponents. So you want to get rid of the exponents in the expression if possible. So 3 squared is equal to 3 times 3, and that equals 9. Now this one is inside the parentheses, there's an exponent, and then there's an exponent on the outside of the parentheses. So order of operations, we look inside the parentheses first, because please excuse my dear Aunt Sally, parentheses comes first. So you want to work on the parentheses. So inside the parentheses, we have 2 squared, and 2 squared is 2 times 2, and 2 times 2 is 4. So we got rid of the parentheses, but now we have 4 squared, so we have the exponent. So 4 squared is 4 times 4, and that gives us 16. So in this example, we got rid of the parentheses first, and then the exponent. Now this is what I meant when I said earlier, if possible. The variables that have exponents, if you can't combine the like terms, there's nothing, it can't be further simplified. So multiplication and division, this is why they're on the same step, is because they have the same rank. One's not more important than the other. So when you get to the multiplication and division step, you work just from left to right, and whatever comes first. So if it's multiplication then division, you multiply and then divide. Or if it's division and then multiplication, you do the division and then multiply. So you always work left to right. So with this one, we have 12 divided by 2 times 3. So working from left to right, we would do 12 divided by 2 first, which will give us 6, and then write the rest of the problem. So then we have 6 times 3, and that gives us 18. Now this one is multiplication and division, but it is not worked from left to right. So first, the 2 times 3 gives us 6. We write the rest of the problem. So we have 12 divided by 6, which is 2. And this is the wrong answer, because when you get to multiplication and division, it's always from left to right. So addition and subtraction has the same concept as multiplication and division. Addition and subtraction also have the same rank, so you also have to work from left to right. So for this example, 8 minus 4 plus 2, not working from left to right, will give us 4 plus 2 is 6, so then we have 8 minus 6, which is 2. This is wrong because it wasn't worked from left to right. And this is the correct way. So 8 minus 4 is 4, write the rest of the problem, so then 4 plus 2 is 6. And you get completely different answers. So that's why I said it's very important that you follow the order of operations, or you'll get the wrong answer in the end. So let's work through a couple examples. So the first example, we have 3 times the quantity of 2x plus 3 minus 4x minus 2 squared. So order of operations, please excuse my dear Aunt Sally. So we're going to first work on the parentheses. Now in the parentheses, we have 2x plus 3, which aren't like terms. We can't combine them. But we notice the 3 out front, and we can distribute that 3 in the parentheses to remove them. So we have 3 times 2x is 6x, and 3 times a positive 3 is a positive 9. and then we just write down the rest of the problem. So now that our parentheses are removed, please excuse. So now we're on to exponents. So the only exponent that we have is this 2 squared. Well, 2 squared is 2 times 2, which is 4. So please excuse my dear. And if you notice in this problem that there is no multiplication or division, so we just skip that step. And then we go on to, Aunt Sally, we go on to addition and subtraction, working left to right. But if you notice, left to right, we have 6x plus 9. We cannot combine those because they're not like terms. So we stick with the 6x and we look at the next term, and we have 6x minus 4x, which those are like terms, so we can combine those. So 6x minus 4x is 2x, and then you just write what's left. So we're still working from left to right. So 2x, there's no more like terms, so we can do the plus 9 minus 4, and that gives us 5. So now we're at 2x plus 5, and we have used the order of operations to simplify this expression as far as we can. So 2x plus 5 is the simplified version of 3 times the quantity 2x plus 3 minus 4x minus 2 squared. Another example. So I know that this looks long, but if you follow the order of operations, it'll actually simplify quite nicely. So we have, please excuse my dear Aunt Sally. So we first work on the parentheses. So if you look inside the parentheses, we have 5 minus 4, which are like terms. So 5 minus 4 is 1. So I changed the 5 minus 4 to 1, and I just rewrote the rest of the problem. So please excuse, so we got rid of the parentheses, so now we're going to look at the exponents. And the only exponents I see is at the end is this 2 squared. And 2 squared is 2 times 2, which is 4. So I rewrote that as a 4, and I just rewrote the rest of the problem. So we got rid of the parentheses, we got rid of the exponents, and please excuse my dear. So now we're on to multiplication and division from left to right. So the first thing I see is this negative 8 divided by 2, and negative 8 divided by 2 is negative 4. And then same thing, just rewrite the rest of the problem. We're just working step by step. So left to right, so we got that division. So the next multiplication I see is this negative 4 times 2a. Now remember that multiplication and division, you don't need like terms. So negative 4 times 2a is negative 8a. So I rewrote that and just wrote the rest of the problem. So let's see if there's any more multiplication and division. Left to right, we have this 3x times 1. Well, 3 times 1 is 3. And just write the rest of the problem. So please excuse my dear Aunt Sally. So now we're on to addition and subtraction from left to right. So we have, well, let's look at this 4a. 4a, we're looking for like terms. So 4a minus 8a. So those are like terms. So 4 minus 8 is negative 4, and then the a carries, so it's just negative 4a, and then you just write the rest of the problem. So left to right, nothing else can be done with that 4a because there's no more like terms. Left to right, so we have negative 4. Negative 4 can't be combined with 5b, but negative 4 plus 3. Negative 4 plus 3 is negative 1. So this negative 4a came down, the 5b, and I rewrote it as negative 1. Negative 4 came down. This negative 4a plus 5b, there are no more like terms, so I just leave those alone. And then I have negative 1 minus 4, and that gives me negative 5. So negative 4a plus 5b minus 5 is our final answer when simplifying this expression using the order of operations.